they got such a crazy snowfall in such a short amount of time that I-95 got like snowblind, and snowfall was more than an inch or two per hour, forced cars to stop dead in their tracks and sit tight and wait. And there were people sitting in their cars for almost, and in some cases more than 24 hours. A lot of my students were asking, hey Kiyoshi, if I got stuck on the side of the road, what would I do? Like, I'm not a prepper like you, I'm not into all that survival stuff like you, what should I have? And it got me kind of thinking about like, what are like the most basic things, right? What's up, warriors? This is Kiyoshi Dave Herman with 5 Elements Tactical Training, here to share with you some warrior skills and drills that anyone can learn and everyone should know. If you're new to the channel, welcome, and thanks for stopping by. If you already follow us on social media and that's how you found your way over to this channel, go ahead and hit the subscribe button and the bell notification button and the little thing where it says all notifications, so YouTube will let you know when the next video drops, and you get all sorts of cool content from here as well. Happy New Year, warriors. I'm back. Sorry I've been a little bit MIA. My December is always insane, just with the dojo, with my police job, with really just everything, and plus Christmas and having kids, and I'm involved in a lot of things. I'm always invited to a lot of different like parties and get-togethers, and you know, Christmas this and Christmas that. So December is pretty challenging in and of itself. And for the last, I don't even know how many years, the week between Christmas and New Year's, I take off from everything. I go off the grid, I turn off my phones, I try to avoid social media, I try to just avoid everything because I grind and grind and grind. 2 full-time jobs, several part-time jobs all year long, with the finish line in my head is like Christmas break that I get to spend with my wife, my kids, my dog, my fireplace, and just, you know, I don't know, it's just me time, like real me time. So, but I gotta say is I am blown away by how many of you guys are like, yo, Kiyoshi, are you all right? I hope you're okay. We missed your content. So, man, I'm getting chills just saying it to you guys, but it means the world to me. It really does. Like most of you, other than through like talking to you through comments, like I wouldn't know you if I bumped into you on the street, yet the feeling and the vibe is there. And just so you know, it means the world to me. I really appreciate it. The channel was growing. I think it grew more in the last 2 weeks of me not even doing anything than, you know, the handful of weeks before that, which, I don't know, I don't understand the whole algorithm, whatnot. Anyway, so today we're talking about, I had a video on deck for like prepping my car for winter, like the things that I just throw in my truck, just to have in my truck. Anyway, but this past week, on the eastern seaboard of the United States, we have a road called I-95, and I-95 basically goes from Maine to Florida. It covers all of the states on the eastern seaboard of the United States. Virginia is about, I don't know, maybe the halfway mark, a little bit north of the halfway mark of the United States, and they got such a crazy snowfall in such a short amount of time that I-95 got like snowblind, and they were, I think the snowfall was more than an inch or two per hour, which forced cars to stop dead in their tracks and sit tight and wait. And there were people sitting in their cars for almost, and in some cases more than 24 hours. So aside from just going over some of the winter preps that I do for my truck, personally, for those of you that are new to the channel, I'm up in New York, which is, you know, we have 4 seasons: winter, spring, summer, fall, and you know, so we get summertime and I don't need all the snow stuff, and then we get wintertime, which just today is snowed, which is why I got like my snow boots on and all my other stuff. But in addition to just going over the winter preps, I wanted to go over, because it was a little bit of a wake-up call for me too, is you know, hey, if we were trapped in the car for 24 hours, like with no notice whatsoever, I'm just driving to wherever, am I good to go? And what should you do so that you're good to go? And as always, I love when you guys chime in with your 2 cents, and just you bring so much value to the channel, more than I bring to the channel, honestly, if you're asking me. So I'm gonna go over what I do. I'll give you some ideas, and as always, guys, like just drop a comment and let me know what you know, ideas you have, crazy stories you've been through, all that stuff. I know I can't always get back to all of them, but I read them all, and I love that everybody else reads them all too. So stick around. All right, so for those of you that are new to the channel, we cover some prepping stuff, and we cover martial arts and self-defense stuff. I own a martial arts school for 24 years this year. I'm a police officer and a firearms instructor, so we cover like some defensive tactics and firearms safety and firearms training, marksmanship and stuff like that. I'm big into survival training, and it's just one of the things that you know, I pass on to as many of my students as I can. I'm always trying to get after better information and better ways to do the things that you know, God forbid you find yourself in that scary spot, and we say fighters fight, preppers prepare, and survivalists survive. So that's kind of what the channel is all about. So off the bat, when you look at some of the stuff, I mean, this is my Suburban, man. I drive around with not all of this stuff all the time, but a lot of it a lot of the time. And we have videos up already, like, is your car road trip ready? I got this bin from one of my buddies at police work, had one in his truck because he does a lot of beach camping and beach fishing, like drives his truck onto the beach. And it's a great cargo bin that it's not too heavy, but it holds tons of stuff. And, you know, if I need to make room to drive somebody to the airport, I just take it out, put it in the garage, I could pop it back in. And in there I have a ton of stuff like jumper cables and, you know, miscellaneous necessities. Again, check out the video. I'll put a link somewhere over here. Is your car road trip ready? And you'll see a lot of the stuff that's already in there, so I don't have to reiterate all of that. Some of the other stuff that I do have, though, is I'm pretty big on like a bin system, like buckets and milk crates. Clear bins work. I have some like bucket systems, like the 5-gallon paint bucket or Homer buckets that you would get from Home Depot or Lowe's or whatever. And the point of this is a lot of my students were asking for winter, like, hey Kiyoshi, if I got stuck on the side of the road, what would I do? Like, I'm not a prepper like you, I'm not into all that survival stuff like you, what should I have? And it got me kind of thinking about, like, what are like the most basic things, right? So to start off, I drive pretty far, oftentimes by myself. When I go out to Dave Canterbury's Pathfinder school, that's like a 12-hour drive for me each way, and I do it by myself. Some of it's through like very like urban. I got to drive through New York City to get off of Long Island. But then I drive into a lot of like rural areas, oftentimes at night, oftentimes in the dark, oftentimes by myself. No other drivers for a mile. Sometimes I have no cell service. So there are certain things that I'm always going to have in my car with me just in case. Like if I don't have any cell service, I don't know where I am. I don't know really where I'm going other than my road atlas. But sometimes I can't tell how many miles is to the next thing or whatever. So in case I need to use my vehicle as a shelter, there are certain things that I always have in there. So for instance, again, I have more than one full-time job, so I'm in my car a lot, and sometimes like I go from job A to job B, and a very simple thing, like what should you have in your car? I mean, could you roll up a sweatshirt and wrap it around your neck? Sure. I got this thing, it was like 25 bucks. It is the best, so comfortable. It's just a basic travel pillow, but I keep it in my car because I'm in my car, and a lot of times I catch my Z's in the car. For winter time, man, having a good set of gloves that are going to be windproof, waterproof. You know, I have work gloves, but they're not waterproof. And if I started like trying to change a tire in the snow or something and they get wet, it's just going to be a miserable time. So as the weather starts to change for the winter, I make sure that I have winter clothes. I got a warm hat. I got warm gloves. I'm big on neck gaiters. I always have a shemagh or two in my car, but I mean like some sort of thing that's going to kind of keep my neck warm, keep my, you know, the wind out of my ears and off my neck and from down my shirt and all that stuff. I always have a lunchbox in my car. Like now, protein shakes, protein bars, instant coffee, electrolyte packets, again for the summertime especially. But I'll have a bottle of water or two in here, and in the summertime, sometimes that thing's going to freeze, so I use the Poland Spring bottles or, you know, whatever it is, because I could use it to, I could let it thaw out and it's not going to pop the bottle, whereas I've had like my Nalgene bottle crack because I had it filled with water, left it in the car, it froze, cracked, and it was 10 bucks down the drain. So I could use it to hold water once I melt water. I could take snow, clean snow. Remember that snow is going to be about 1/10 of what you pack it is, so if I pack 40 ounces of snow, when it melts down, it's going to be like 4 ounces of water. That's just food for thought. But leaving your house, man, first thing you should do is make sure you top off your gas tank. You're driving somewhere and you're driving for a while and you're not sure of the weather, you're not sure where you are, you're not sure where the next gas station is going to be. There are those people who like it gets to half tank and they got to fill it up. And then there's people like, I know my car, and they drive around with the empty light on. Don't be that guy, because those people, if they got caught in that blizzard with their car and empty, and I'm sure they're out there, man, that's a very, very uncomfortable situation. So driving around with your car at least halfway full, like my truck holds, I think, 30 gallons of gas. And if I was on halfway, so 15 gallons of gas, if you let it idle, you go through about a gallon an hour. So I wouldn't let my truck idle for the whole night, because I'm going to need that fuel when everything clears up and they clear the path so I could drive to the next rest stop, exit, whatever. What you could do, though, is maybe let your car run for, I don't know, 10, 15 minutes or so every hour or so. So, like, you get enough to, like, get the car warm and get yourself comfortable, and then kind of ride it out till you get uncomfortable, start it up, let it warm up 10-15 minutes every hour or so. And that's another way to help stretch out that, like, oh my God, we're stuck and it is snowing, blizzard, all that stuff, and really, really cold conditions. When the weather changes, like up here, again, I have the 4 seasons. When toward the end of the summer and all year round, I always have some sort of like light sweatshirt or something. I have 3 little kids, and guaranteed we're going to go somewhere, and one of them's going to say they forgot their jacket and it was hot when we left, that's why I didn't bring it, and now it's cold out, and now it's cold. So I always have one bin is just like jackets and stuff for my kids and my wife. My stuff is all over the car. So in the bin I have like some sort of like zip up sweatshirt with a hood. Again, as they get bigger, I rotate them out. If it's something that they're not going to wear, we either give it a hand-me-down to the dojo or to the donate it to the Marys, or whatever you call them, big brothers and sisters. But what I do is I make sure that I have hats and gloves in this bag. This is another bag I always have in my car, and in here I have gloves, another neck gaiter, more gloves, more hats. And again, I always have stuff because I got a family of 5. Sometimes we have a 6th or 7th in the car, depending on where we're going. So I try to make sure I have enough stuff that, at the very least, hats and jackets for everyone. I am big on wool blankets, because wool, like if somebody got out of the car in the rain or fell into water or fell into whatever, even if you're wet and wool gets wet, it'll maintain its heat retention, its insulation value. So I have a really big wool blanket that I use for my camping and survival training. I have a smaller one. Every car that we have has at least one big enough blanket to wrap up 2 people in a wool emergency blanket. I have a moving blanket that I use for, like, we're going to the park or the beach or wherever. I have a moving blanket, which again, that's another thing to wrap us up and keep us warm. In here I have 2 fleece sleeping bags. So again, there's a bunch of us, and I don't know where it is. It's on the baby seat. Always got blankets for the baby and stuff. So again, 1 is making sure you have the fuel to get you to where you're going. 2 is making sure that you have the stuff to keep you warm, that if you had to, like, encapsulate yourself in your vehicle, that you have the stuff to maintain your core body temperature. Hats, gloves, blankets, jackets, basics, right? Food and water. You could go a really long time without food. You're going to get grumpy. You're going to be cranky. You're going to be like hangry and like moody, and that may throw off your judgment making abilities and stuff like that. But if you're just going to stay put and your stomach's growling, yeah, you're going to be miserable, but you'll be okay. Water, believe it or not, you'll last plenty long enough to get out of something like that without water. But hey, if you have like a headache and you need to take aspirin or Tylenol or whatever, it's good to have it, and it's good, like, I'd rather stay hydrated than not. I'd suggest anything that you can, that you don't need to cook or prepare in any way, like whether it's candy bars, cookies, snacks. Again, if you've got kids, you probably already got a snack bag in your car. But again, you got to be careful when it comes to eating and drinking, because the more stuff you put in, the more stuff's going to want to come out, right? So without getting all potty and poopy talk, what are you going to do about going to the bathroom, right? So a couple things that I don't typically have in the car, but I just started carrying, especially when I heard people were trapped, and I was thinking, I have no shame. I'll hop out of my car and wrap myself in a blanket and do what I got to do, and as if I was in the woods. If I got to go that bad, I'll make it work. I don't have any shame, but my wife and kids do, especially the little ones. So one thing that I do carry in my car pretty often, usually has like some sort of rock salt or something, is how much coffee I drink, that I buy it by these size tins. I saw a pretty cool tip that you could use this maybe with like the grocery bags that you get from like your grocery store. Almost like if you were going to be walking your dog and you're going to pick up after them. So you take one of these grocery bags, right? Thin plastic, whatever. You could double it up if you want, whatever. You could use this can. If you had other stuff in there, you might want to dump that into something else or throw it out if you didn't need it. But, in my wife's car, she's got a smaller SUV, and here there's plenty of room. But stuff one of these bags in here, roll the bag over, a scoop with using like a Dixie cup or something, or even a handful, because kitty litter is clean by itself. There's nothing wrong with that stuff. A handful or 2 or a scoop or 2 into here, and now your kids could use this the same way a cat would use a litter box, right? And if you had to, you could do the same thing. Again, it depends on how close and personal are you with the company in your car. Otherwise, you hop out next to your car and wrap yourself in a blanket, open 2 doors, and you'll figure it out when you got to go bad enough. But then all you do is you take this out, and just like if you were walking your dog, you tie a knot. You could either throw it next to your car, just remember to take it with you so you're not littering, or throw it in the trunk or in the back of the car somewhere where you know it'll freeze, and when you get to your next stop and you got somewhere to toss it, you toss it out. If you use like a 5-gallon bucket as your like system for carrying stuff, instead of using, let's say, milk crates or bins or whatever your thing is, you could use that bucket in the same fashion. Another thing I always carry with me is like kitchen garbage bags for the same thing. Like if we go, you know, to the park or something, you know, I hate when people leave a mess behind, so I don't ever want to have somebody else have to clean up after me because I was hanging out with my family or friends or whatever. Same thing, you could use your 5-gallon bucket with a regular kitchen garbage bag, throw some kitty litter in there, do your business, tie it up, same thing, same way. I always have this shovel in my truck, so for the winter months. So in here, I have a what's called an e-tool. It's like a folding shovel, and it has a lot of uses, like a serrated edge to it. You could use it for kind of cutting. It's got a sharper edge. You kind of use it as an axe. You could use a flat end as a hammer. It serves a lot of purposes. It folds up kind of small and fits in there. It's super light. It's a great tool. I have several of them, but I always have one in my truck with me. But as soon as the weather changes, I always have a small shovel in case I need to like shovel out a path just for my, you know, no traction or whatever. You could use the kitty litter to throw to create some traction as well. But I always have this shovel in the truck for like just in case. Once it starts snowing, I'll have, you know, like today, the snow is in the forecast. I throw a couple of the shovels in case I got to shovel out my grandfather's house, my mother's house, the dojo, whatever. But I don't usually drive around with the big shovels, but I always make sure that I have at least a small one in there. It's cheap enough. I got it at Home Depot. It's probably like, I don't know, $10 or something like that. So another thing, like this is my man purse. This is my everyday carry backpack, which if you've never seen my everyday carry video, I get some pretty funny comments on there like, dude, you walk around with more stuff than a girl does. But whatever. Again, I leave my house before the sun comes up, and I come home well after the sun comes down most days. If I get stuck at a police job on an arrest, I don't know how long I'm going to be there. I never know where the day's going to take me, basically. So in here, after having a lot of bad days and forgetting stuff, my everyday carry bag has started to carry a lot of stuff. Snacks, drinks, phone charger, the charging brick battery pack thing. You know, you charge it, and then it charges your other stuff. You got a small first aid kit. I got my I can't have that at work, so I have my trauma kit, a regular first aid kit, an extra flashlight, an extra cutting tool, some stuff to start a fire. Like it's part survival kit, it's part like everyday carry, it's part Mary Poppins magic bag with all the crazy stuff in there. But having some sort of system where whatever car you're going to get into, you bring your bag with you. So if you're ladies, I'm sure that you go into your purse and you got plenty of stuff in there like for just in case. And that's kind of the mentality behind all of this. The winter, of course, you're going to need to add to it. Getting stuck in your car, God forbid. Of course, you're going to have to like kind of think ahead for some of that stuff. Try to let somebody else's bad day be a lesson for you. So the people that just got stuck for 24 hours, you'll be all right for 24 hours. Even if you had to sit there just miserable, you'll get through it. The biggest and most important takeaway from all of this is maintaining your core body temperature. So even if you had nothing else but the jacket you're wearing and some rags or something, or garbage bags, whatever you could wrap yourself up in, and kind of like use the car as your shelter, and ration your gasoline warm enough that you could survive, but as cool enough as you could tolerate, if that makes sense, right? And just kind of bundle yourself up into like a cocoon and sleep. If I could bring nothing else with me, give me a pillow and tell me that, hey, you're going to be stuck here for 24 hours. Like, oh, thank God. And they'd be like honking and beeping. Somebody go wake that guy up. But that's when you work that much, that's what happens. Of course, you should have your jumper cables. Of course, you're going to need like paper towels, toilet paper. I'm big on baby wipes, but I've had baby wipes freeze on me. So in addition to like the wet ones or baby wipes, whatever that stuff is, that's great. And I have them in my bag that usually is indoors with me. I don't leave them in the car because the ones I leave in the car always freeze. But in my bin, I definitely have paper towels. I have shop towels for like, bigger spills, dirtier stuff, oil type based stuff, whatever. But I always have toilet paper, paper towels, like stuff to kind of like, hand sanitizer, you open my truck on the side door, I got a little toiletry bag again, because I'm in my car a lot and traveling a lot and away from home a lot, that I always have something to kind of brush my teeth and, you know, freshen myself up type of thing. Even if it's like, you know, within the car, how do I just like, oh man, I need to wash, but I'm not going to be anywhere near a shower for a while. How do I just, you know, I'm big on baby powder and mouthwash, toothpaste, toothbrush, that type of stuff. Let me just brush my hair, wash my face, some baby wipes, some baby powder, and I could rough it out the rest of the way. But again, these are the things that, one, I have in the car often. I just add the things for keeping myself and my family warm, the things that I'm going to need in case I get stuck on the side of the road. Batteries, flashlights. Again, check out the video in the beginning that I was telling you about the is your car road trip ready? And you'll be like, dude, you're out of your mind. I think you have way too much stuff in your car. Except the other ones out there that are like me, and you get like, bro, you know what you're missing? And I love when you guys tell me. My wife does it because like, I go on Amazon like a... Anyway, if you made it this far and you like what I'm teaching and preaching, go ahead and give me a thumbs up and like this video. If you're loving it, go ahead and hit the subscribe button. And if you gotta have it, make sure you hit the bell notification button and the little thing where it says all notifications, so YouTube will let you know when the next video drops. If you're really digging it and you want more, you guys can find me on all social media platforms, especially Facebook, especially Instagram. Those are the ones I check the most, at 5 Elements Tactical. That's all I got for now, warriors. So until our paths cross again, pray for the best, prepare for the rest. I'm Kiyoshi Dave Herman with 5 Elements Tactical Training. Thanks for watching.